So this would be part two of setting up for the final exam. So I labeled these different wall types in part one. I'm just going to delete those. And then let's see if I can do this globally. Um, hmm, yes. Okay. So we got our garage walls here. House garage wall is here. And our house wall is here. So we want to work on the dimensioned drawing because that has the dimensions turned on. And let's put some dimensions in here. And we have to place them. So we click somewhere to place them. Let's do that on all four sides. Now, we're still sort of setting up for our, oops, I wanted to continue that. So and for some reason it didn't. So I'm going to click on this and say, edit the witness line, and we'll continue adding more dimensions into there. Okay, so far so good. We need two more. Let's see, here to here to here, and then we'll just place it there. And one more, which would be right here. And we'll just place it there for now. All right, so we have our offsets, but we don't have our overalls. So let's do that from here to here. With, let's make sure that's not so sloppy. Um, from here to here. And notice that Revit kind of snaps a set distance away, which is nice because we'll have that set distance away from all of our offset dimensions. So we just come down and it pretty much snaps to there, that point. And this side we don't need because we don't have any offsets, so our overall is still good, but we still need one here. From here to here to there. All right, let's do that. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted overall, which is from here to here. And then let's watch it snap. Okay, so now that's looking good. And now the first thing that I would do for the final exam, assuming that you have the handout, the first thing I would do now is take a look at what are the dimensions that I'm showing for the overall of the house. So if say that were 45 feet, then I would click on the object that I want Revit to move when I change this dimension and make sure that we're activated. And then I can click on that dimension and let's say it's supposed to be 45. Okay. And let's say that this dimension is supposed to be 20, 20. Oh, let's make it 30. Okay, so this will be in your handout. That's what you're going to do. Again, here, you know how to move the dimensions or the walls. We click on the object that we want to move, and then we click on the dimension that we want to change. And whatever dimensional change we make, Revit will make that true by moving the object that we selected. So let's say we want that to be 45 feet. Okay, so there we go. Always a good idea to save your work. So I'm going to just go click on that save button. And the next thing we're going to do is you're going to have a handout that will say where the walls go, the interior walls. So architecture, wall. What kind of wall? Well, we want it to be a 2x4 wall. So let's scroll down and see interior 2x4. Okay, we've told Revit what kind of wall we want, but we have yet to tell it where we want it to start and stop. So the base point would be the first floor. That's good. All right. And the top constraint, well, we don't want it to go up to the roof. We want it to go up to the top of the first floor wall. Top of TO first floor wall. Okay. So now when we put a wall in here, Revit will put that wall with those constraints. Where's the bottom of it? First floor. Where's the top of it? Top of first floor wall. Let's make that just a little bit bigger so it's clear. Top of, and that's where we want these these walls to go. So now we can copy that over and we can copy it over here. And what do we want to do? That it just the error message just said you have two walls on top of each other, but I'm okay because I'm going to rotate one. Okay, and then we'll copy that up. And we would start to lay our house out based upon the information that I provide to you in this in the handout. So what's the first thing? Well, let's say I told you that this distance of this wall was 12 feet. So I would click on the wall that I want to move. We already did the outside, so we're not going to change the outside wall locations. We're going to change the inside. So that means this is the wall that has to move in order to make that 12 feet. All right. And then maybe this is a hallway. So let's say that this should be 5 feet. Okay. And now, what do we have? Well, let's say that's the kitchen. So we can simply copy this wall up to here, and then we'll drag it down. That'll be the kitchen and the breakfast nook, maybe, assuming that this is what I've given you as a handout. And maybe this is 16 feet wide. So we'll click on this, make it 16 feet. Okay. And then that's the living room. This could be the office. Well, let's make this the entranceway, and then we'll just copy this over here and clean it up. So trim extend for here, and this guy will just extend across like that. All right, so this will be the entrance. We'll put the stairs over here. Let's do the stairs next. So architecture, stairs. Again, we want to pay attention to the constraints. The base constraint of the stairs would be the first floor. The top level is not the bottom of the first floor fascia. We want to go all the way up to the second floor. So the stairs will start at the first and go to the second. They're 4 feet wide. If I wanted them to be uh, 5 feet wide, then I would change that. And the line that I'm drawing is in this particular setting would be the left side, but let's make it the right side of the stairs. And that'll make sense when I draw the line right here. That is going to be my stairs. Okay. We have a really high, what does it say? It gave us an error message. So let's take a look. Maybe we didn't make the stairs long enough. I don't know. So I'm looking for a section line and I don't see any here. So maybe we have them turned off. First thing I'll do is say what's hidden. And sure enough, that and that I want to unhide in the view. Let's see, we'll just do all those sections. Okay. But I want to see where that stairway is actually stopping at. So I saw an error message, but I didn't read it. So let's see what's happening here. Go to view. And yep, stairs don't make it. So let's edit the stairs. We'll go back to well, it's second floor. I'm drawing on the second floor. That's not good. And we'll continue those stairs as far as they need to go in order to, whoops, we're going to draw the little dot here. Let's get what we need here. I don't know. We'll say, okay, we'll go back to that section. Wrong section. Front to back. Nope. All right. I'm trying to figure out what section that is. We'll just go to it. Now it's way too many. All right. I am time constrained. I'm working on what close everything. I have too many already open. Back to the first floor dimensioned, and can't see the stairs because I deleted them. I'm going to start over again here. Architecture. stair. I could fix the other stairs, but I think that a time constraint would be better to just delete them and start over again. So 5 foot wide, run on the right-hand side. It went back to the wrong setting. So base constraint is the first floor, top level is the second floor. And this time I'm just going to draw them here. And there's my stairs. Okay. Let's move those stairs through that section now, and we'll see if they're okay or not. Go to view. Okay. Now they do start at the first floor and finish at the second, but we don't have enough room to get off of the stairs there. So we'll go back to here. Let's put a dimension line into here. And then we'll click on the stairs and we'll say that should be 4 feet. Okay, we can take that out for now. All right, but we want it to align with this wall. And so modify tab, align. Okay. Now the stairs, how much space do we have here? Let's put a dimension in there just to see how much space we have. All right, that's enough. That is adequate to walk around. And for this class, this is fine. So that's our living room. That's our kitchen. That's our office. And maybe we could make the office a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. Let's do that. Let's move this wall over here a little bit, and then we'll copy it over to here. And we're going to put our closet and our powder room here. And that'll be the entrance to the house. And then this will be the laundry room and the back hall lab. Okay, so we'll trim extend these two. I can say create similar now because it's not a stacked wall. I'm going to put another one here. Now this is my closet, so let's make that 2 feet on the inside so there's plenty of room for hanging. How do we do that? We put a dimension in, click on the object that we want to move, and tell the dimension that we want it to be. Revit will change that dimension to be true based upon moving this object that we asked it to move. Now, what do we want for the hallway here? Let's put in a dimension line from here to here, and let's make it 5 feet. I like 5 foot hallways. They're much nicer. All right, and then this is the powder room. All right, so this is the closet, powder room, and this will be an opening that goes into the library. What I'm not real crazy about is we could line these walls up. So let's do that. How would we do that? Well, I would grab all of these except for this one. And I'm going to, well, I don't know if that's going to work or not. Well, if I put a reference line in, it would. So let's put in a reference plane right here, straight up. So I want to move everything except for that wall over. So I'm grabbing everything there. We're going to deselect that, and we're going to say move from where? From the corner of here to that reference plane. That moved everything except for that. So now when you walk in, this is your great room. This is your kitchen. And this is your back hall. We're going to have a back hall lab, stairs, and a laundry room. How do we get into that? Let's copy this over. That's going to be the laundry room. Stairs will be, or the closet will be here. We'll say create similar. We just need a powder room in there. And then we'll put a closet right there. Right click, create similar. We'll put a closet right here. Okay, so we come in from the back hall. Let's make that closet 2 feet again. How do we do that? Put in a dimension, click on the object that we want to move, and put in the dimension right there. All right. And this will be the powder room. we don't we don't need those dimensions. Right now they're just in the way. All right, so now we've laid out basically the first floor. And I put these wall tags in, but we don't need those. Okay. Now, how do we get from the foyer to the library? Well, let's put in an archway. Architecture, component, we'll place a component, and we're looking for an opening or an archway. Let's see, you have this in your library. It's not a door, it's an opening. Let's search for OP. What's an opening? There we go. Passageways. 2'4". There we go. That puts an opening in. Now, let's take a look at that real quick just to show you what we just did here. We'll take a picture of it. An opening, early on in the class, I saw several students just draw two walls. They drew a wall on this side and they drew a wall on this side. But there is always an opening, there's a wall above it. So if you drew two walls, then that would be straight up. We just want an archway or an opening there. So that's what we put in there. And then here, let's put in some doors. So door, what kind of door? Double door. Do we have any double doors here? Double flush. I think that'll do it. Let's try that and see what happens. Wrong. I hit the flip element to flip that, and then we want to come in here with just a regular door. What kind of door? Single flush 30 by 84. Okay, that's good. One side will be the toilet, one side will be the vanity. Maybe we should make that a little bit bigger. Let's drag this over another foot. All right. So we can kind of flip that over. Now we didn't recenter this door, so let's do that. We snap to the center line, we snap to there, and we just click on the equal. Escape, escape. We click on that and say unconstrained. So now we have it centered again. So that's our opening into the powder room and closet, and then we'll put another door here. What if we said create similar? Then we'll just put it right there. Probably be a bigger door. What is it right now? 30 inches. Maybe we want to make it 36 by 84. We'll just do that. Okay, maybe we want to flip it the other way. You won't be making these decisions. You're trying to duplicate what's there. All right. And so let's do another archway into here. We already have it. Create similar, and we'll just put it right there. Then let's try that again. Create similar right here. Oh, flip it. Yep, that works. So we'll come in this archway. We have this little area to put our coats and take off our boots or whatever. We'll have a back hall lab here. And then this is the laundry room. Let's put another archway into here, into the kitchen. So that's going to be the kitchen and the breakfast nook. And then we'll have a great room. And we go up this way. If we want to go down, we'd have to go through the great room to get to the down. So that's not a great design. But we'll leave it for now. All right, well, let's put in, we need another door into these two. So let's do the create similar again. We're trying to do things as quickly and efficiently as possible. A laundry room needs a bigger door than this, but we'll say create similar and we'll put that in here. And let's move it down using the arrow keys to nudge it. Let's flip it. But it should be, you need to get the washer and dryer through that door, and 30 inches might not do it. 32 would, but let's be generous and make it 36. So we can get that the washer and dryer into this, into and out of. You know, we think about original construction is getting it in, but eventually we have to get that out as, you know, they need to be replaced. And let's put another archway in here. We'll do the create similar to begin with and put it right there, but I want a bigger, much bigger one. So let's click on it and see what's available here. Well, 14 looks, 10 is probably better. Okay. And we'll flip it back or just nudge it up there. So we're starting to look really good here. Oh, look at that. We got to fix that, don't we? Because we know that these dimensions should be, we'll have to move this one too. So we'll make that 8, 27, 8. Because remember, they always have to be 2-inch increments. We'll make that 4. Let's make it 6. Okay, how's everything else? We didn't change anything else, I don't think. Yep, okay, we have all even inches, so we're good there. So we've started to lay out our floor plan on the first floor. That works out pretty well for whatever the dimensions would be. So now let's assume that this is correct, and I want you to tell me that it's correct. Well, how would you do that? Well, you do that by dimensioning it. So make sure that you show, yeah, I did put those walls in the right place as you gave me in the handout. And you can see that I'm just going all the way across. This is the quickest way to do it, and time is of the essence. So let's place them right there. I like to place interior dimensions inside and exterior dimensions outside. So the exterior dimensions are outside, but these are interior dimensions. So they're placed on the inside. But you can see that I missed dimensioning this wall. So what do? Click on the dimension, edit the witness line, and just add 2 more right here and right here. And Revit did that for us, but we'll get this one out of the way, and we'll get this one out of the way because it's hard to see that. And this one too. Let's pull that one up. Okay, let's see the rest. Oh, no, let's do that to this one too, just to be consistent. All right, so now you'd be able to say, yep, Professor Price, I did place the walls in the right location here. Let's do the same thing again across here. I like to always start from the outside wall and then go through all of the walls. We've already given this dimension, so we don't need to repeat anything else. So we'll just leave it. Oh, I grabbed that by mistake. So I'm going to say, edit the witness line. Click on that, edit the witness line, and I'll click there again, and it will remove it. Because I was trying to place the dimension lines, but I clicked on an object, so Revit assumed that I was trying to dimension to that, which I didn't want to do. Okay, let's do across here, and I think we're done with our horizontals. I'll put those up here. And just to be consistent, you don't have to do this. Well, maybe you should on the final exam. The reason I say you might want to do that is because you might have dimensions on top of dimensions, which then I wouldn't be able to see that you did it. So do I need to do the verticals? Yeah, well, let's do it. It's redundant learning experience, but it might help. So let's put them in. And there we go. Now I have to place them. So let's put them right there. And then we drag that little dot out of the way, get the dimensions, drag the dimensions so that they're just not on top of each other. They're easy to read. We should talk about here in terms of saying what it is. Boom, 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 boom. Now, do we need? No, we don't need to tell anymore because we don't need to continue that dimension because we've already told it over here. So boy, well, that's a mess. Let's pull our wall dimensions up to there and hope that that cleans it up enough so that we can read all the dimensions. And yes, we can. All right. We'll have to do that over here. That might be a little bit messier, but let's do it. Let's start right here on the outside wall, go to the inner face, then the face of each wall, face of each wall. All right, now we're looking to place them. Well, let's get them right there. The nice thing about doing the continuous dimensioning is that if you feel that you have to move the dimension line, all of the dimensions go at the same time. What I mean by that is, let's say I wanted to move that dimension. Look at that. I could move all of them at the same time. That's why that's the nice part about oops, I'll just nudge it over with the keyboard. That's a little too close there. Yeah, that's on top of it. So let's see, we got to get rid of one of these. Let's move this one over to here. Okay. All right. So what do we have? Well, we still have to do this one. We didn't tell anybody what that's supposed to be. And an argument can be made that you have told the carpenter where to put the walls based upon these dimensions, which is true, except that I don't want to make life a little bit difficult for the carpenters out there. So why can't we tell them this one and then they don't have to do the math, which is exactly what we want. We still have to do the garage. So, all right, let's do one more. Just thinking, uh, we'll do the garage from here to here, and then that will also tell us where the stairs start, where they end, and how much space we have between them. Okay, so that gives us another piece of information, which just makes it easier for the carpenters to lay this out, but also to make sure that we get the location of these objects where we want them. Maybe I should have pulled, well, leave that there. And I'm going to grab this guy and just undo. What I want to do is grab the 4.5 inch and just bring it down here. That's the wall thickness. Okay. So we still have to add in our countertops and toilets and sinks and all of that. But this is a good setup uh, for your final exam. And then as you're looking at the PDF handout, you can see that this is what you're supposed to have for the location of these walls. So I wouldn't look at the PDF and then put this wall in based upon that dimension. I would just put the wall in and then change it by that way. For a time constraint, because remember, you only have 3 hours and 20 minutes to do all of this. It's a good spot to stop for part 2 of the midterm or final exam.